Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Music of the Week. I do want to apologise for not getting a Fight of the Night review done on Sunday. So I did post to Facebook as to why it wasn't able to happen, but simply put, just really bad connection for everyone in the household that day, so I wasn't able to get it done. I watched round one, I thought it was pretty good, but I haven't actually watched the entire fight since, so it might be good, I don't know. But that's not what we're here to focus on. We're here to focus on the 6 albums that I've got to go through, so I reckon we go through them as quickly as I can go. We begin with Battle Tapes and their new album Texture. Battle Tapes is not a band I'm super familiar with. This is a electronic rock group with nice elements of electro pop. I'm giving this one a B plus though. I thought it had some really nice catchy tunes to it, really solid beats melded with some nice guitar riffs. I liked the synth working together with more rock elements. The lyrical themes, I think there was some political stuff and some relationship stuff, and believe it or not, for an electro-leaning album, it doesn't overly repeat itself, which is something the genre can suffer through. I only say this based on this album and the other few electronic-leaning albums I've listened to. I don't know. Don't really have much to base it on, so just don't take my opinion for gospel. Have you ever considered that? I don't know. Don't know why I went there. Anyway, performance-wise, really solid. The band do showcase a lot of personality. They've got a fair bit of charisma to them. They work really well together. Production's really good. It really makes these sounds pop nicely and just mesh well together. Structurally wise, it's not bad. Some occasional predictable beats to it, but still really well handled, really nicely put together for the most part. Just a really solid bit of electronic rock. So if you're into that, go listen to it. Next we have Body Void with Atrocity Machine. This is a sort of doomy death-leaning act, and this gets the lowest grade of the episode, by the way, which is only a B, so that should tell you how good the quality of last weekend's music was. I quite liked a lot of this one. I feel like, in terms of instrumentation, it felt like one super long riff, but it's got all these like little elements peppered in. The drumming's quite good for the most part. The lyrical themes, I couldn't really get a good beat on. There seemed to be some stuff about corruption and how we view the world, and some stuff about, I think, media status, maybe? I don't know. It was very difficult to really get a pin on themes. I don't think the performances were bad either. I thought everyone put in a really good shift, especially whoever the drummer was. They did a really good job. The production, also quite good. Got that really dense, thick feel to the death metal sort of thing, and it does lean quite nicely into the doomers as well. And structurally wise, it can sometimes feel a bit like one overly long song, but it's not badly handled. It's got a lot of really interesting things thrown in. You know what? I just had a thought about this, and it feels like the song that should have been playing in the background of Mad God, which, if you've not seen that movie, fucking weird but worth a watch. Yeah, it feels a bit like listening to this felt like watching that again. There's also the fact that this album only has 6 songs, and it's stretched out to over 40 minutes or something like that, but it doesn't feel like it's padding anything out, which is really good structuring and pacing, so maybe give it a spin if you're up for it. It's an interesting listen, to say the least. Next we have Carnifex and their new album Necromantium. Carnifex are a deathcore group, very much one of the ones that sort of boomed when deathcore became a much bigger thing in the mid-noughties. And this is a band that's put out really consistent work in the time since then. I think this is my second or third Carnifex album, so I'm pretty familiar with the style of deathcore. I'm giving this one a B+. I thought it had some really nice elements to it. I liked the instrumentation. I thought it went really heavy. It's basically what I quite liked from deathcore, the signature heavy instrumentation, really good drumming, really good guitar work, understated bass work too. I don't think that gets enough credit for how good it can be in deathcore. I thought the lyrics were really good, touching on really nice political themes of corruption and some stuff about death as well. Very grim writing, but still very nicely put together for what it is, and isn't as stereotypical as it could have really been, and I always like that. I think the performances are really good. I think lead singer Scott Lewis puts in a really good shift, and I think I gave a shout out to the new drummer for this one, whose name I don't remember, but it will be in text form right now because he did an amazing job. Just really good stuff all around. Production standpoint, honestly quite good. Again, produced by the band. They usually do their own stuff alongside Jason Swakoff, I think it was, who I'm familiar with. He does a really good job with this style of production. I liked the work that he did with the band on this one in terms of just making the sound really feel like big and powerful and punchy. And structurally wise, also quite good. A lot of really neat tricks thrown in here and there. I guess I'm just sort of like getting more used to Carnifex's style of deathcore. You know, I do like my things to feel a bit more epic and with a few more elements thrown in. Say also Shadow of Intent and Lorna Shore for good examples of that, and Ingested as well. But you know, as it is, Carnifex continue to be a consistent band in the genre and in the scene. So proud of them for putting out something like this. Is proper good stuff. Next we have a band I'm a bit biased towards. We have Fivefold, where their new album Fill in the Blank. Now this is a band I first discovered 4 years ago, because, you know, I've told the story before when it comes to me starting an EFED. Obviously it began with me joining CWL and starting an EFED like a year after I joined CWL. Also my elbow just popped out. And I found out about this band through it because we were asked to pick original theme music that wasn't just stock music from in the game at the time. And this was on, well, not this one, but a Fivefold song titled Dark Side Me was on Montage Rock, and it became Connor's theme, and I thought, you know what, if Fivefold ever put out a full album, and the last one they did was in 2012, I'd check him out again, and this is that first full album since then, and I'm giving it an A. I know it took a while to get to that road. Yeah, really enjoyed this one. Just really fun, alternative-leaning hard rock with more than a few prog elements that work well. It's mostly in the guitar where the prog elements lie. I like how sort of genty things feel in a way, but like not, you know, overly stretched and long as gent can sometimes be. You have to admit it is a bit of a problem with it. But I like how it's really done. It's got a lot of things that throws at the wall, and a lot of them do stick. It's got really good shifts in tone and mood. I like the instrumentation, solid guitar, solid bass, solid drumming. I think I already highlighted the structuring, but in terms of that pacing, it's quite good for an album that's got 16 songs on it. It's over 50 minutes long. It does find ways to actually mess with the formula enough that it doesn't feel stale or repetitive, and it throws in some really good things. It's got really good heavy moments, got really good lighter moments, and I like how it all works well. I think the performances are fantastic. The lead vocalist has an incredibly unique voice. Like, he's got this really good, like, sort of high-sounding vibrato to him, but he can also scream his bloody lungs out. He's got an amazing scream, and again, I'll put his name in text form as soon as I get to that point in the edit, which you'll probably see now. You know, a little peek behind the curtain for you, I guess you could say. Lyrically wise, I think it does cover themes of mental health and anxiety and some relationship stuff. Really good themes. Also, my finger just cracked. And I liked how it was done. Performances, I've already gone performances. Production, really clean, very organic feeling. For an album this long, the production is very, very consistent and just keep with it throughout. I like the fact that it's got like little sort of radio clips from time to time. Like the first song is basically just a sort of like radio style sort of speaking intro from the lead singer, I think it is. So yeah, I quite like this one. You know, I really hope it doesn't take the band another 11 years to put out a new album, because this one was really goddamn good. Next we have Hit Bargain with their new album A Dog, a Deer, a Seal. Hit Bargain are more of a sort of punk rock / noise punk sort of acts, and this is the first album I'd heard about by them. God, why does my finger keep cracking? And I'm giving this one a B+. You probably can't even hear it. You know, you probably can't even hear the snapping. I'm giving it a B+ though. I really enjoyed a lot of the elements of this one. I do feel like... See, initially this was the album I liked the most from the last weekend, but it was one I actually got to spin a couple more times, and it's gone down from the A-ish grade I was going to give it. It's still got some really good shit on it though. I really like the sort of the nerviness of the noise punk sort of sound. It actually adds a lot of really nice layers to it. I think the riffs are really good. I quite like the bass work. I think the drumming is really nicely timed. It's got sort of an indie vibe to it in that way, which I appreciate. I think the lyrics have really good themes of, you know, modern day greed and abortion rights, and some really good feminist topics from time to time, which helps because the lead singer is a female, and, you know, this feels like a very feminist noise punk act, so it feels like a very necessary one to listen to. Performances are absolutely fantastic. The lead singer does a good job, but my standout is the guitarist. They do a really good job on this one, and again, name will pop up. I think production-wise it's really good. I do think it can be a bit too heavy in some areas with what it wants to do, but it's not ham-fisted with it at all. It just feels like it could have maybe tried to make things a bit clearer, but as it is, I like the sort of raw feel to it and the almost purposely unpolished vibe at points. And structurally wise, quite good as well. It doesn't really repeat themes too badly, and it's got some really nice moments that stand out. It's just got this really like consistent flow to it. It doesn't really go too many high points, but it does have enough that I can just go like, oh yeah, no, those are good. So yeah, this album is good. So give it a spin if you can find the time. And finally, we have Scream with their new album, DC Special. Scream is a band I had not heard of before this, probably because they are DC punk scene OGs, and this is their first full-length album, not including lives or splits or EPs. This is their first full-length debut album. Full-length debut? First full-length studio album, excuse me. In 30 years. 3 decades. It's like their last one came out when I was 1. I don't even know if it came out at that point. I might not have been born by that point. But it got an A+, because I was not expecting to vibe with this song as much as I did, but I think it's just all the elements that went into it. For example, I would be remiss to not mention the passing of drummer Kent Stax, who passed away back in September, not long after the band announced the album's release date, I think. And this was the last album of his drumming, and he did an absolutely fantastic job on it, but it's more than just a sentimental thing. It feels like a true celebration of that era of 90s punk, you know? I mean, the producers are... Oh god, I can't remember the name of one of them because it's difficult to remember, but the other one is Ian MacKaye from fucking Fugazi. Like, that is... And it's on Discord Records, which is his record label. That is fucking amazing stuff, and I love that. I love how it feels like such a good relationship just from that standpoint. The production itself is great as well. I love how it makes all these weird elements that the band try and throw in just work. There's really nice keyboard bits with the instrumentation, but also just some solid punk riffs, really nice post-hardcore points to it as well. Just fucking loved how the riffs played out. Lovely bass. The drum work, obviously fantastic as well. I think Kent does actually give the best performance as well for his last work with the band. Obviously everyone's great as well. Pete and Franz Stahl are both fantastic. By the way, if the name Scream is vaguely familiar to any of you, that's because it was a band that Dave Grohl was in before he joined Nirvana. Or I think that was the case. Or I think he joined it after Nirvana folded after Kurt's death. I could be wrong about that. Obviously that'll be corrected. But yeah, I really love performances from everyone involved. Just so much personality from everyone, just sounding like they're having a fun time. Lyrically wise, does focus on some really good political themes, but mostly it feels like a celebration of the past 30 years, you know? And I love that they chose to focus on those positive aspects of where things are, where they went, you know, how they've grown in some really good ways. It's really nice to get that, and for a band I had never listened to before, by the way, none of them feel like they've lost a step in those 30 years since, you know? I mean, obviously, again, not counting the live albums, EPs, splits, so on. I'm trying to think of a facet I haven't talked about. I talked about production, talked about performances, lyrics, instrumentation, pacing, structuring. Really good. They throw so much shit into this album, and all of it just about works. I love how it's got, like, weird bits of ska elements, more post-hardcore feeling songs, more traditional punk rocky songs, sort of alt-rock vibes at points, you know? I think my only teeny tiny gripe, which isn't really much of a gripe, is that there's, like, 12 songs, 18 in the bonus edition. I had to, like, shave the time of those 6 extra songs. Wish I hadn't, though. But, like... Songs 1 and 12 are like spoken intro, spoken outro, respectively, and it does feel a little bit strange, but they also feel like really short songs on their own, but that's not a deal breaker in the least. I just thought I'd point out how a tiny bit strange that was, but this album is still fantastic, and again, I just love that an album like this exists, considering the people involved as well. It just makes me happy, you know? I just fucking love everything about this one. Even the tiny gripe I had with it. If I had to nitpick, you know, which I always feel like I have to do, there it is. But just go and listen to it. It's really good stuff. And that'll about do it for this episode. As always, I'm going to do the ranking system. So it'll go Carnifex with Necromantium, Battletaste with Texture, that. Body Void with Atrocity Machine, Hit Bargain with a Dogadira Seal, Fivefold with Fill in the Blank, and Scream with DC Special. But as always, you should go and listen to all of these at least once, formulate your own opinions, and let me know what you think in the comments if you watch these and have listened to these albums, and if you are part of my audience that actually, you know, stays around for these parts. That's what's next for me, though. Tomorrow, a reaction of some sort, and then tomorrow night, the return of PVW versus AVW. that's gonna be a lot of fun. So I've spent most of this week like rebalancing out the roster because I've had to make some cuts. So you know, been a wee bit busy with that, but most of it's done. So yeah, I'll see you all tomorrow for those two things. As always, thank you for watching. You're awesome. Bye bye.